Donald J. Trump warned her, not once, not subtly, directly. Don't make promises the files can't back up, right? Don't overstep and don't bury the truth. That warning was meant for Attorney General Pam Bondi, handpicked to clean up the Department of Justice, to deliver justice in one of the darkest scandals in American history, the Epstein operation. But just days after standing next to President Trump, just weeks after telling the world that she had the Epstein client list on her desk, and just moments after facing off with two of President Trump's most trusted warriors behind closed doors, Dan Bongino is out. And MAGA is officially at war with itself. And so the moment that changed everything, a missing minute of Epstein surveillance footage, gone, deleted, scrubbed clean. Bongino found it. He sounded the alarm. And Bondi, she blamed him. She called him the leak. Is Dan Bongino the leak or is Pam Bondi the leak? She accused him of going rogue. And then, according to multiple insider sources, she turned on him in a White House meeting with Kash Patel, Susie Wiles, even President Trump. Okay, so the confrontation, nuclear. The fallout, it's still unfolding. But what you're about to hear in this video isn't theory. It's not clickbait. It is fact-based and backed by Fox News insiders, White House correspondents, as well as leaked memos from inside of President Trump's own cabinet. Pam Bondi made promises to the American people, but the binders were opened, and when they were opened, there was nothing in there. There were no names, no logs, just excuses. And President Trump's loyalists like Dan Bongino and Kash Patel, they're done being the fall guys for DOJ's failure. Now, the question isn't what went wrong. The question is, who should go? Was Dan Bongino right to walk? Did Pam Bondi fumble the most important investigation in modern history? And what does President Trump, who has been nothing but strategic, loyal, and transparent with the American people, do now? Right? I mean, does he protect the fighter demanding justice or the AG who let the Epstein story spiral into chaos? And ask yourself this: if Bondi never had the list, why did she say she did? And if she did have the list, why won't she release it now? I mean, this isn't just about Epstein anymore. It's about accountability, loyalty, and the war inside the MAGA movement that Trump himself may now have to settle. So stay locked in, guys. Of course, we need to talk about the exact moment Bongino walked out, what Pam Bondi told Trump behind closed doors, and why this one blunder may change everything that we thought we knew about the Epstein investigation. And of course, the battle for truth inside Trump's own DOJ. Drop me a comment right now, Bondi or Bongino, who should walk? Hit the subscribe button. Also, because you're going to want to know what happens next. You're not going to want to miss it. Hit the like button if you appreciate the daily news updates. All right. So the internal shakeup at the highest level of the administration, this is what we're dealing with right now. I mean, it literally just created like a tremor inside the MAGA movement. Something happened this week that nobody saw coming. Dan Bongino, former Secret Service agent, fiercely loyal Trump defender, and now deputy director of the FBI, just stopped showing up for work. Sources very close to the situation are calling it a voluntary protest exit. But if you've been watching closely, it's a little bit more than that. I'll just say that. This wasn't just some burnout or some mid-career change, okay? This was a deliberate act of defiance. And the target of that defiance, none other than Attorney General Pam Bondi, someone who President Trump handpicked to drain the DOJ swamp and finally bring justice in the Epstein case. But the situation, let's just say it spiraled. Bongino is livid, Bondi is scrambling, and Trump, who warned her weeks ago to stay cautious, is now forced to choose between two of his own. Now, if you think that is just about an internal squabble, wait until you see what Bondi promised the American people and what actually showed up in the so-called Epstein binder, okay? Now, stick with me, guys, because what comes next will actually shake your faith in what has been going on behind the scenes. Now, I'll just go ahead and tell you right now, too many people think that they're stuck with what they got. I mean, I partnered with Chapter to prove that you can give yourself a raise by stopping the leaks nobody told you about. Ed, he left me a comment the other day. Ed said $684 back every year at age 84. That is a big deal for me. Hey, Ed, appreciate you, man. Thank you for letting me know how well things worked out for you between you and Chapter. Buck also left me a comment, said $166 a month back. That's my new raise. Thanks to Chapter. Hey, guys, see how much you can get back? and save on your Medicare. Give our friends at Chapter a call. Phone number is 909-563-8279. Or better yet, hit them up on their website right now. Click the link in the pinned comment down below, going to askchapter.org/Ron. So I want to rewind just a few weeks. Pam Bondi appeared on Fox, Hannity, and pretty much every other MAGA media outlet and declared with confidence, I got the list. I've got the list. It's sitting on my desk right now. How many of you guys remember that? She said this. She said she was reviewing the Epstein client list, flight logs, videos, testimony, all of it, and that it was being processed under direct orders from President Trump. She said this was justice in motion. She told us to expect truckloads of evidence. Hey, I'm not making this stuff up. These are her words. And then the day came. The binders were handed out. The files were reviewed. And what do we get? A fraction, hundreds of pages, not thousands, redactions so heavy you couldn't even read the freaking flight dates. Names are missing. The client list, that was nowhere to be found. Did anybody get to see this client list yet? It was a big fat nothing burger without the cheese. Okay. In fact, sources are saying inside the FBI are now saying that no such complete list exists and that the files that Bondi promised were never even in DOJ possession. Wait, what? So then what was she talking about on Fox? Why did she tell the world that she had them? And more importantly, why is Bongino being blamed for the fallout? This is where the tapes come in. And let me tell you, what was missing from that footage may be the real reason why Bongino finally said, I'm done. So what was Bongino's breaking point and why did Bondi try to bury it? Plus, of course, the explosive White House meeting where Bongino just walked out and Trump had to decide whether to intervene or not. So also, what pushed Dan Bongino to the edge? I mean, it wasn't just the missing names. It wasn't just the redactions. It was what was missing from the surveillance tape. The one piece of evidence that everyone inside the DOJ said would put the Epstein conspiracies to rest. You remember what they said. We've reviewed the footage. No accomplices, no visitors, no wrongdoing. But Bongino didn't buy it. He pulled the raw footage himself, the raw file. He reviewed the timestamp. And what he found? A full minute gone. Erased. No explanation. No chain of custody documentation. Just a jump cut right in the middle of the time window where suspicious activity was previously flagged. That minute, it might have shown you who walked in, or how surveillance was disabled, or whether Epstein was alone at all. And instead of getting support, Bongino, he got pushback. He was told to stand down, that there was nothing to see here, that the memo had already been signed. He fought hard, and then he was blamed, accused of leaking, accused of undermining DOJ credibility, all because he wanted to tell the truth. The final straw, Bondi personally refused to reopen the tape review. She told Bongino to let it go. But that's not who Dan Bongino is. And that's when he stopped coming into office. He stopped coming in. So I want to take you inside the West Wing, okay? Into a high-level closed-door meeting that happened 3 days ago. In attendance, Attorney General Pam Bondi, FBI Director Kash Patel, Deputy Director Dan Bongino, White House Chief Strategist Susie Wiles, and yes, of course, President Trump himself. So what was supposed to be a policy update turned into an ambush? Pam Bondi accused Dan Bongino of leaking a quote to News Nation, a quote that painted her as one, a person who's essentially blocking justice. She said Dan Bongino was the reason the MAGA base is turning on her. She told the room he's undermining the team. Bongino exploded. He pushed back really hard. He reminded her that she was the one who told America she had the list, that she told Trump, we've got this under control, that she invited influencers to the White House and handed them empty binders. Sources say it got heated. It got heated real fast. Voices were raised. Kash Patel sided with Dan Bongino. Susie Wiles stepped in to calm the room. And Trump, according to insiders, President Trump didn't raise his voice at all. But he did speak clearly. I warned you, Pam. Don't make promises the files can't back up. He didn't fire her, but he also didn't protect her either. And the silence, that strategic pause, that was the moment Dan Bongino knew he was done. Now, of course, we need to talk about why the MAGA base feels betrayed right now and how the influencers are pushing back, plus President Trump's crossroads, who stays, who's going to go, and what it all means for the Epstein case going forward. Now, Let's talk about the real fallout, not the kind that's happening in DC backrooms, but in the comment section, in the town halls, and the thousands of messages flooding Truth Social and Rumble right now. Because the MAGA base is not staying silent. People are demanding answers, not just from Pam Bondi, but from anyone who told them that the Epstein list was coming. The influencers Bondi invited to the White House, they were handed binders that were either blank, redacted beyond recognition, or full of already known logs. Like nothing useful. So some of them have gone public, furious, saying that they feel used as props in a staged media stunt. Meanwhile, Bongino disappears from the public eye. No videos, no statements, just gone. And we now know it wasn't burnout. It wasn't vacation. It was Bondi's backroom blame game that pushed him away. And what about Kash Patel? I mean, he's still in the fight, but insiders are saying that he's just as frustrated, not just with Bondi, but with the culture of delay, secrecy, and slow walking the truth. The base is watching, and they're asking, did we trade the old DOJ swamp for a new one in red? Because it's starting to look that way. But here's where it gets even worse. Let's go ahead and zoom out. President Trump came into office in January, promising to restore faith in justice, not just with words, but with results. He cut the bureaucratic fat. He brought in some loyal fighters. He made it crystal clear justice for Epstein's victims was non-negotiable. This is why he gave Bondi the job. This is why he trusted Bongino and Patel to clean up the FBI. This is why he warned Bondi, don't get in your own way. Don't overpromise. And now the public sees red tape. The tapes are missing time. The lists are under review, but never released. Who's stalling this thing? And more importantly, who's benefiting from this delay? Bongino was one of the few voices saying, let's go public. He said, let's unseal it. Let's release what we've got. Let's protect the victims. He didn't care about protecting legacies or reputations. He cared about the truth. And now he's gone, which begs the question, is justice really being delayed for a legitimate reason, or is someone making sure that it never arrives? Now, real quick, if you want to make sure that you never miss out on the breaking news, hit our link in the pinned comment down below. Join our breaking news newsletter. It's totally free. Link in the description or pinned comment down below. So what did Trump actually say to Pam Bondi behind closed doors? Will he choose Bongino, the fighter, or Bondi, the blonde, the one wearing the badge? Well, this is where it gets difficult and deeply personal, because despite the chaos unfolding behind the scenes, President Trump has stayed composed, strategic, presidential. President Trump not reacting emotionally, he's calculating his very next move like a grandmaster chess player on the world's most dangerous chessboard. Remember, this is the same president who rebuilt public trust in a government that was rigged against the people for decades. But even the sharpest strategists just cannot ignore what's unfolding right now. A loyal fighter, Dan Bongino, he's walking out of the FBI. A man Trump has trusted for years because he says he can't lie to the public. Meanwhile, Pam Bondi, Trump's handpicked AG, who promised thousands of pages, truckloads of evidence, and the infamous Epstein client list, she's still in the job, but her credibility is bleeding out quickly. Multiple sources, including insiders close to Susie Wiles, Kash Patel, and even the White House legal team, have confirmed that Trump privately warned Bondi weeks ago, don't promise what you can't release. Don't play politics with justice. And still, she went on Fox. Still, she spoke about a list on her desk. Still, she handed out empty binders. And so now Trump faces a brutal but necessary decision. Protect the mission or protect the mistake. Because the longer this festers, the more it looks like Epstein's secrets are being protected again, just under a different nameplate. Hey, and if Trump doesn't make the move, the base will move. Okay, so let's ask the question that nobody else wants to ask. But this is also what everyone's thinking. Let's be honest. Who do you trust more to tell the truth about Epstein? Bongino, the man who risked his reputation, found the missing minute in the tape, refused to lie, and then walked away rather than cover it up? Or Bondi, who promised the list, then blamed the FBI, then blamed Bongino, and still hasn't delivered a single public name? This is no longer just a DOJ dispute. This is a referendum on what we believe the MAGA movement actually stands for. Transparency or theatrics, justice or some talking points. And now it's your turn to speak up, guys. So drop it in the comments down below. Hashtag Team Bongino or hashtag Team Bondi, because President Trump is watching. And if the MAGA base speaks loud enough, he'll listen. He always does. And if you're like me and you want the list released the tape uncut, and the truth out in the open, then this is the moment to stand up and say so. Share this video, get in front of every patriot who still believes justice is worth fighting for. And of course, if you're new here, subscribe because we're just getting started. And if you thought that this video was explosive, wait until you see the video that's about to pop up next on your screen. YouTube is recommending it right now. Click that video. You do not want to miss what just leaked out of Manhattan.